Oh yeah, sexy biscuits. Nice.
Long was 1975. A YouTuber's on the rise. Reviewing games late at night and sometimes friends. But Long Boys Bros 1975.
This is Live and Let Die on the Amstrad CPC, released by Elite in 1988. Also released on the Spectrum, which I have a gameplay of, and the Commodore 64, which I have a gameplay of, and the Amiga and the Atari ST, of which one I have a gameplay of. Based on the first Roger Moore James Bond movie of the same name, released in 1973. So I guess at this point Elite were just looking around for licenses. And see, the thing is, obviously, in the movie, you all know this, in the movie, the boat scene takes up, like, a very small part of the movie. It's really cool, but it's a very small part of the movie. It's the entire game, because they did shit like that back then, but it's also the entire game because this was never developed originally as a James Bond game. It was another game that they took off the shelf and just slapped the James Bond license on. The music's alright. It's got a Bond-esque vibe to it, but it's not actually a rendition of the James Bond theme. But you see what I mean. Also, it's not in-game. So basically you race along rivers, collecting fuel, because apparently that's how you refuel, avoiding mines and other bad guys and stuff like that. It's frustratingly hard. It is not a good game, but since I've played it on the Spectrum, and I've played it on the Commodore 64, and I have a massive soft spot for James Bond, I figured it's only fair to give it a go. So, I think the magazines gave it so-so reviews back in the day. Anyway, fire. Right, practice. Because we all remember in the Bond movies how he gets to practice course. North Pole, remember that from the movie? Sahara Desert. Didn't realise there was a big river running right through the middle of the Sahara Desert. New Orleans, which is what? That's the movie, isn't it? So, well, hang on, I've skipped it. It won't let me go back, I can only go round. Right, we're going to may as well go for practice, haven't we? Because you accelerate by pressing up, and obviously, as I've explained many times before, especially when you're playing on the world's shitest control pad with the Super Console X, when you have to steer at the same time as constantly pressing forward, compromises your control. Fire. Right, so, apologies for the background noise. I live on the busiest road in the West Country. Rockets to the left, speed in the middle. It reminds... Look at that. Luckily, on the console of this boat, it's actually got my insignia preset. This must be the 007 model. I guess this is from Q Brands after all. Bottom right hand corner is my fuel. Fire. And then, I got two fires. It's two buttons. Wow. How about that? Missile that. And then, forward. Is that. We're going to go slowly so you can see what I've got to pick up. Do I pick you up or do I avoid you? I don't know. Let's find out. I avoid you because you're not fuel. I can shoot you though, can't I? Yeah. Now your fuel absolutely pisses down. Can you see that? And I just... Wow, that was quick. Bishop, are you shitting me? Your percentage was 8. Right. Okay, so we got to leg it. But the thing is, like, you need to get fuel, but by doing this, you shoot the fuel. And you die. But you can die as many times as you want, because you're James Bond, technically you're immortal. But when you run out of fuel, it's game over. It's not frustrating at all. Where is the fuel? I'm just shooting everything. I haven't seen any fuel yet. Wait, no, that's a mine. No, that's a rock. Because, yeah, rocks float, didn't you know? Where's the fuel? And then also you get that annoying noise to say you're going to run out of fuel. Because you wouldn't know, would you? By looking at the bottom right corner of the screen where your fuel gauge is. I don't remember it being this brutal on the Spectrum or the Commodore. It's pretty brutal on the Spectrum and the Commodore, but not this. Let's just get into a mission. Right, there are other boats eventually and stuff. There is a nice 3D effect when you go through tunnels. Right, North Pole. Look, it's climate change, you know, that big con job thing. That's why there's no fucking ice. They've been on about that shit for years. Remember years ago the picture of the polar bear on a piece of ice floating out to sea, and they said, poor little polar bear, he's going to die because of you bastards with your cars. No, he's not. Polar bears are amongst the best swimmers in the animal kingdom. There's a plane I can see. There we go. Why is the actual game easier than practice? Fuel. That's such a Pac-Man noise. Pillboxes, forgot those. There were lots of pillboxes in the North Pole. I mean, I know it's a licensed game from the 80s, and I know they took it off the shelf and put Bond on it, but it's just stupid for a Bond game, isn't it? I mean, what other Bond games were there? They were by, isn't this Domark and Elite? I can't remember. Look at the title screen. But yeah, at least the View to a Kill mixed things up. It was brutally hard on the Spectrum, and looked better on the Spectrum than the Amstrad. I could fly, I just noticed. But at least it gave you 3 stages, each replicating something from the movie. This is inspired by one scene in the movie, and then they realise, oh look, it drops the fuel on a mine. Yeah, then they realised, hey look, boats. Yeah, we can stretch this. Oh, that was lucky. That's kind of cool. I thought, what are those then if they're not fuel? Brutally hard, not particularly responsive, stupid. Not things I want to say about James Bond, really. He got hammered, didn't he, in the conversions to the licensed games for years until GoldenEye came out. Because look, oh, narrow. How the fuck do I avoid those? So you had A View to a Kill, which was alright. Then you had License to Kill, which was just brutal. But not terrible, but unfair and brutal. And then you had The Living Daylights, which is just stupid. Like, I just don't understand that game. I wanted that. Hey, if you can, you know, worried about the North Pole's ice and shit like that, with all these people who dump their fuel in the water, at least I'm picking it up, giving it a good home. You're welcome. James Bond, ambassador for wildlife. Ba-dum-ba, ba-dum-ba. Oh, what's that white thing? That's ice. See, it's freezing back up now. This is stupid. This is, I mean, at least if I'm constantly collecting fuel, I can't die, because otherwise, the training stage was misleading. How do I avoid those? You can't, obviously. I don't want a hammer. Stop, hammer time, see, because fuel. I feel that even the most skillful player is fucked on this. Oh, you should at least let me blow up the door. Right, well, live and let die, mostly die, really. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. You are a super spy. Who's Tin, the super spy? Right, so, how does it rank amongst the other ones? It's better than the Commodore. I still prefer the Spectrum, because it may lack, you know, obviously this is Mode 0, it may lack colour, but at least the sprites are really big and shit. This song sounds nothing like it's inspired by James Bond. Right. Thanks, Andy Williams. And to a lesser degree, Pete Tattersall, or Soul Tattersall. That is your real name. Right, North Pole, Sahara. There we go. At least they've mixed the backgrounds up. Oh, how do you even avoid that? Do I have to memorise them and then shoot them? Be on that side of, I was going to say the lake, the pond, the river, and then shoot them? No, go on the other side apparently. No. Do I get points for that? I jumped. What's with the alien? See, because you need, that's a cool effect. That's in all the versions. You need to be able to hammer fire to, you know, thin out the obstacles and shit like that. Death, essentially. But it's broken in the sense that you're just going to kill your fuel. Greenpeace would like that shit, wouldn't they? And Just Stop Oil. Hey, Just Stop Oil, I dare you to glue yourself to my fucking car. Because you're in for a surprise if you do. Spoilers! I'm still driving to work. I'll politely warn you, and then I'll drive to work. They're always fucking middle class rich kids who've never done a day's work in their life, aren't they? Looking for a fucking cause. Used to be back in the day they could just sponsor a fucking snow leopard in their dad's and mum's after dinner party for all their fucking well-off mates. Then you got the current bloke in Just Stop Oil, who's quite near the top, who is retired from working in BT for 30 years and a millionaire. So he made his millions and then he grew a conscience. Otherwise known as he wanted attention. Fucking assholes. How do you think the world lives? They all want us to live in fucking caves, don't they? But then they organise all their meetings on their laptops, you know, in their rooms, using all the fucking power, you know, from and comfort from modern society. Anyway, I'll shut up now. Hey, you can jump it. I'm still dying. I feel the North Pole was easier. Thanks to climate change. Which is a lie. Oh, this game is shit. What a waste of the Bond license as well. You can call it this. I mean, even back then when they put a license on something, even as a kid, you just went, I'm not James Bond. This feels nothing like James Bond. I may be 10, but I'm not stupid. You're lying. This is not a James Bond game. Thank you. One more. New Orleans. Movie accurate. Find and destroy Mr. Biggs. Drug and something. I don't know. I'm just going to... See, my fuel goes down just as fast if you go slow or fast. How am I supposed to get that? I feel this is the third level then, because you can clearly see it's stepping up the difficulty. But depending upon my speed, my fuel still goes down the same. Little boxes, because of course. Imagine if you were a massive James Bond fan back in the day, which we all were in England, because it was on every Easter Monday and Easter Sunday. It was the law. And you got this for Christmas or something. You've been well gutted. The box art and the title screen lied to you. Your boat's nice, if I can take a positive. You get fuck all fuel for each one. I feel we might be having to go at one more level. I feel we might be going back to the black pole. Oh. Make the river wider. What am I supposed to do? Oh, shoot them, I guess. He's still hanging in there. This is the world's slowest water chase in a James Bond movie. It's not a James Bond movie, because it's not even a James Bond game. Let me shoot the door. Satisfying. I can't face another level. This is shit. This is awful. It wasn't great on the other two versions, but it was clearly better and more playable than... three versions I played. Better and more playable than this. Live and Let Die on the Amstrad CPC. I'd give it a miss if I was you, even if you like James Bond. Anyway, as always, I love to know what you think, especially if you played this back in the day, and you were massively disappointed because you're a James Bond fan. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later.